Today we'll see some of the troubleshooting about our Linux, Windows, Linux RHEL 7. Now here, suppose you have some problem here. So what we can do, for example, our system is not starting because of some of the problem of the file or some of the, we have a problem in the file system or something, and our system is not starting. So what we can do, we can go to say rescue mode, emergency mode. Now by default it goes to the emergency mode. When your system has a problem and it is not starting properly, then what it do, it automatically goes into, it will try to go into the emergency mode, and then it will provide, it is emergency mode is just like a safe mode for us. It is in Windows, we call it a safe mode, and it goes there and try to start the system with least services running, so that if any services or program is giving the problem, then we can solve the problem when it is running in the single user or emergency mode. Or we can manually go and we can manually try that, we can manually try to send our system into emergency mode also. So let's restart the system and see what we can do. Now while the system is starting, it shows these menu entry, where we can see two entries are there. Now two entries, one is the normal one, other one is the rescue. So if suppose the one is not running, then we can go on to run the the second one. Second one is also a same, it is just another kernel we have. We can say that this is the rescue kernel. We have that we can start the server with this kernel. This kernel is same as our original kernel. So we can still run this almost same as our original kernel. So we can start the Linux into this also. It will also work similarly like what we have, what we are starting with the previous one, the first one. That one is the default one. So this one is also the same one. Now if suppose we have a problem and the original kernel and the rescue kernel both are not working, if you try to run it on this kernel and it is still not working here, then what we do, we try to take our system into emergency mode or the rescue mode. Now this one is working. As you see, I have selected the second kernel, but options, users, everything is same. So I will log in as a root user here. And it is almost same. The graphical interface is same because we change the kernel on the base kernel we change, but the rest of the kernel, the libraries and the binaries, all the files are similar. So it is similar like the previous one. Now if suppose that one is also not starting, if we try to start the system with this rescue kernel and if it is also not starting, then what we can do, we can change some parameters with the kernel and try to change it to, try to go into rescue mode, emergency mode. It will try to go by default there, but we can also try this manually. We will press E here, and when you press E, and it will ask the password for grub. Now for the security, we put the password on grub also, so that if anyone try to edit this, then they will not be able to edit any parameters of our kernel. So for security, what we can do, we can put the password on grub also, so that anyone cannot change the parameter. Now for editing the parameters, we should know the password and the grub password what we have configured, and I know that, so I will go on to use this username and the password. So it gives me the option here to edit the parameter. Now you can do what? We can go to the Linux line, Linux 16 line. This line is for the kernel. We go to the end of the line. For going into the end of the line, we just press Ctrl E at the beginning of the line. It will take us to the end of the line. Then we can select this command, systemd.unit is equal to, and then you can mention the unit which you want to boot. Like graphical is the graphical.target unit, and for the command line we have multi-user.target, and to go into the rescue mode we have rescue.target or emergency.target. I want to go into rescue.target, so I will give a rescue.target. So it will take me to the rescue mode. Same as we can put any other option to try to resolve the problem. Try to resolve the problem at the time of the kernel boot. Now this is not a permanent, it will only for the current boot. We can press Ctrl X here to start this settings, start the server with this setting. So I will press Ctrl X and it will take me to the rescue mode. Now here we see here that it is saying that this is the emergency mode. Welcome to the emergency mode. After logging in, type the general CTL command to see the logs. And if you are done, then you can go on to reboot the system by using the systemctl reboot to reboot the system. Now boot into the default mode and give root password for maintenance. Here it asks the password for root, and if you don't know the password for root, then you can't do anything. Now I know the password of root, so I will go on to give the password, and then what? It gives me the terminal here. Now from this terminal, if I can manage to recover my system, then I can recover it. Now if suppose the system is not starting from here also, it is not starting with this rescue also, that means it is completely down. Now we have one more option to rescue our system, and that is what we boot from our DVD, and we go and select the rescue mode from there. So that is the option we have to recover our system. Now for example, I will give you some of the example of corruption. Let's, for example, someone has deleted the kernel file. Now we know the kernel file is where it is under /boot. Now if suppose someone has deleted the file, we can delete the file, this kernel file we can delete. Why? Because it is not in use after booting the system. When it is booting, then it loads the kernel and kernel do the job, and then this file is no longer used. So while it is running, this file is no longer used, it is already loaded into the memory. So the file which we saw here, see here, it is not running, it is not used. So what we can do, we can remove, we can delete the file here. Now if suppose someone mistakenly deleted the file, the kernel file, so the system is running, it will run properly, but when it reboots, then it will not boot again, because it will not find the kernel file. It will give the error and it will not boot. So if suppose what I will do here, I will rename the file here, I am not deleting it, I will rename the file to .del. Now I have added one extension there, .del. Now .del is not a name, not a right name. So when our system try to boot, and it will check the file, grub grub.cfg file, and in that file it says to load the kernel file, and it loads the kernel file. This is the kernel file name, but I have changed the name into, I have added the .del here. So it will do what? It will not find the name, and then what happened? It can be a problem here. So I will try to reboot now, and I will select the first kernel, and we get the problem here. What it says here? Error, file, the kernel file not found. Error, no need to load the kernel first. Now what I do, it says press enter, I will select again the first kernel, and it take me to this again and again. So whenever I select this, it is not booting. It is not booting because what? The kernel file is missing. Now what we can do now? If the kernel is missing, then what I can do? I can go on to start the second kernel. I can still start the second kernel is still there. Now if suppose the second kernel is also not working, then I will try to go to the rescue mode, and the rescue mode will also not work. Why? Because the kernel itself is not there, kernel is missing. So we are now missing the original one, rescue one, and also we have missed our rescue mode will also not start, because now we don't have any option. Now in that case, what we can do, we can try to recover our system by going into the last option, and that is what booting from the DVD installation media and selecting the option for rescue. There is one more scenario where you need to go to that rescue mode from the DVD. Is like, suppose you forgot the password for root user. You know the system is working properly, but you don't know the password of root account. Now you want to set the root account password. You can do that, but you can only do that when you have a option. When you have option to go and edit this kernel parameters. You can press the E command here, select the kernel and press E, and it is allowing you to edit the kernel parameters. Only then you can break the password for root account. But if suppose the administrator has also configured the password for the grub, like for example here, when I try to press E here, it asks me the password, username and password. So if it is the username and password configured for the grub, then also we can't access it. If you don't know the password, you can't access it. And if you can't access this, then what? You cannot break, we cannot reset the password of root. Then what you have to do is to reset the password of grub also. Now if you want to reset the password of grub also, then also you have to go to the rescue mode of your installation DVD. So these are the scenario where we do what? We go to the rescue mode from our installation DVD. So what we do, this kernel is not starting. I don't know the password of the grub, and I don't know the password of grub also. Then what I can do, I have to reset the password of grub first. Then or also I have to see what is the problem, why this kernel is not starting. Because the system is not running, I don't know what is happening. Whether the kernel file is not there, or is it renamed, I don't know. I can't see that. So what I have to do, I have to try to boot my system from my DVD. So actually our installation DVD has an option. It is called the rescue installation, and it do what? It boots the system from the DVD. It will not start our main system. It will not start our operating system. It will start the system from the DVD. It provides the temporary OS from the DVD. It will provide the temporary command line for us, and by using the command line from there, we can reconfigure or reset our machine. We can try to save our machine, rescue the machine. So what I will do, I will now insert my DVD and reboot the system and boot from the DVD now. So I will boot from the installation DVD first. Now I have inserted the DVD, then I will reboot the system. And it has detected my installation DVD. It is giving me option to install here, and this is also an option we have, like we can just install our system fresh, so the kernel will back. Now we don't know about the problem, because we know that we have renamed the kernel, but if suppose somebody don't know about the problem, then they don't know what is happening in the background. It is just saying file missing, kernel missing, don't know what is this, what is the problem. So what we can do, we can simply reinstall everything. That means all the things we have configured, we have to reinstall and reconfigure everything. And if you don't want to do that, then what we can do, we can try to save our system. For saving the system, what we will do, we don't select installation, we'll go to the troubleshooting, and in the troubleshooting we have an option to select rescue a Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So we go on to select rescue a Red Hat Enterprise Linux system. This is for rescuing our system. So what I will do, I will select this and press enter. Now it will try to boot our system from the DVD. It is booting, and it is booting from our DVD. It will not start our main system. Okay, now what it is saying here first, it is saying that this is the rescue environment, and this environment will now attempt to find your Linux installation and mount it under the directory which is /mnt/sysimage, and you can then make any changes required to your system. Now choose one to proceed with the step, and you can choose to mount your file system read only instead of read write by choosing the option 2. And if for some reason this process does not work, then choose 3 to skip directly to a shell. So what it is going to do here, if suppose we selected the first option says continue, so it will do what, it will try to find our installation here, whatever the installation we have in our system, and then it will, if it is finding the installation, then it what do, it will mount the partition, what the installation into this mnt sysimage directory. Now if our partition, our installation is not corrupted, not enough corrupted, then it will be detect and it will do what, it will mount under this directory. Now if it is corrupted, our partitions are corrupted, files are not proper, if they are corrupted, so what happen, it will not able to detect it, and will not able to detect, then what, we can directly go, and if suppose I select the first option, then it says no, there is no installation, I am not detecting it, so it will give me option to go what, select the shell, skip the step and just go to shell, and this it will provide the shell, and then what, from the shell we can try to find what happens to our operating system. Or even if you have mistakenly come here, then you can go on to select quit and it will reboot. And if you want to know, you know that our installation is properly working and I don't want to edit anything, I just want to check, then what, we can mount it with read only option. Now I will try to use first option, so that I will try to see that whether our operating system, our installation is working or not, and it is able to find the installation or not. If it is able to find, then it will mount it under this directory. So I will select the one option and press enter. Now it is saying here that rescue mount, your system has been mounted under this directory. So it has finded the installation, and installation is properly working. So our partitions are working, file systems are okay. It is not the problem of that file systems. Now if you would like to make your system the root environment, then run the command this chroot mnt sysimage. Now this chroot command is to change the root environment. Right now we are getting the environment from DVD, and if you want to run our own environment from this sysimage, then we can run this command chroot. Then it is saying that your system is mounted under this directory, and press enter to get the shell. So I want to get the shell, so I will press enter here, and this is the shell I am getting here. Now remember, the shell is coming from our DVD, it is not our own installation. What it is saying here, when finished, please exit from the shell and your system will reboot. Now the shell which we are getting here, it is a asset shell. This shell is coming from the DVD. Our environment, our installation is not there, it's not running right now. It is mounted under this mnt sysimage directory. Now we want to see where is our installation. There is our installation. So what we can do, we can list. Now I will list this, so it shows all these partitions, all these directories, it is actually coming from our DVD. So this is our DVD's file system, and where is our file system? So it is mounted under this mnt sysimage directory. So when I list /mnt sysimage directory, so I can see my whole file system. Now I know there is a boot directory here, and it is not able to find the kernel file. So I will say, let's try to see what happened to that. So I will list under mnt sysimage. This is under this we have our own file system. This is our file system. The whole directories are here. So under this I will check the boot directory. Where is the boot directory? It is here. So I will check the boot directory from here. Now under the boot directory we can see we have these files, and this is our kernel file. Now I know that my kernel file is mistakenly renamed, and this is not the name, this should not be the name. Or if you don't know what should be the name, then you can do what, you can compare with other machine. You can check the other machine and what is the Linux name is here, what is the name here. And what you can do, you can check the file which is under the grub directory, the main configuration file, and in that file you can see that what kernel it is looking for and what kernel file name is here. Because sometimes suppose the versions are different, so the name look like similar. Instead they are not having a .del here, but suppose the version numbers are different, that means it is actually a name. If suppose instead of 17 if it is having 18 here, but in the file it is still 17, it is saying 17, then it is also not able to find. And this is the very minor difference, and you are not able to detect it, because you know that the name is right, major version, minor version is right, but you have to make sure that the name, this correct name is also under the file, because it is trying to get the file from the Linux, try to load the Linux file from this kernel configuration file. So what you will do, what, try to do cat under the boot directory, grub2 directory, there is a configuration file grub.cfg, and then what, you can compare the file. Okay, it is a big file, so what we have to do, we have to use less command also. So this is what we are seeing here, the grub file. Then we'll go on to menu entry, and this is the menu entry, and this is the kernel file name here, which is looking, this machine, this grub is looking for the file which has this name. Now I will quit here, and then what, I will check the directory for the file name, and I will now compare that what is the difference. I can say that there is a different here, this del should not be there. So what I can do, I can use move command to rename it, mnt sys image boot vm linus 3, and I will put it into the same directory. With the right name, removing this del. So I rename the file, and when you see now it is having the right name, so it will not give me any problem about the kernel. Now this problem I can solve by using this, or if suppose we are having a problem of any configuration of some application or something, so still we have we can see our whole file system here. So we can go on to any other directory and we can change what configuration is giving the mistake. So we can remove the configuration if we know, and we can try to save our system. And as you see, these are also read write option we have, so we can read and write also. So we can change the settings from here. We can change configuration, we can change any setting configuration which is giving us a problem. We can remove those library or binary files if they are giving us the problem, and we know that this is the problem. Then also I want to reset the password of grub or remove the password of grub. Then what I can do, I can remove it also, because I can see it, so I can remove it also. I will use vi editor here, sys image under the boot grub.cfg. Now we should not run the edit the main file here directly, but here we don't have any other option. So I will go on to open the main configuration file for the grub, and then I will look for the line which is having a password for root user for the grub, and this is the line. This is the line which is setting the password for grub, and I can see the password. You can see here the username is root and the password is this. So if I can see, then I don't have to remove it. That means I can see what is the password, so I don't have to remove it. If you don't see, then you can remove it. Now I know the password, so I don't have to remove it. Now what? I have removed the password of grub, and also even I can reset the password for root directly, and no need to reset the password, remove the password for grub. We can change it after when we logged in properly. So if you are here, then you can directly change the password of root. Now if you want to change the password of root, then you can just give the command passwd, and I want to change the password of root, and you will get the error here. Now why it is giving error here? Because we are logged in, we have run the system through the DVD, so this account is not there. This is not the root account for our machine, our installation. So this is not the account. So if I want to reset the password for root, then what I have to do, I have to reset, I have to change my root file system. I have to change my root file system. That means right now this file system, root file system, is coming from DVD, and my file system is under sys image. So I have to change, I have to remove the I have to unload this root file system of DVD and load my own file system into memory. Then I can do what? I can reset the password for root user, and that is why the command chroot is there to change the root file system. So I will say I want to run the installation from here in this directory chroot. Now when you see the bash is, the shell is changed to bash, and now what we have running, we are running now our own file system. When you list now slash, we can see this is our own file system running. Now if I run the command passwd to change the password of root, I can easily change the password of root. So I know what I did. I try to save my system by changing the configuration from here, the rescue mode, and if I don't know the password of the grub, then I can reset the password or remove the password of grub. Then I can also reset the password of root user directly from here. So this option is the last option we have if our system is not working. And even suppose the kernel file is completely deleted, or many other files are corrupted, or partition is corrupted, or suppose the files are not working properly, you don't know what is the problem, and you don't know which configuration is giving us the problem, system is not running. Now you have to do what? You have to reset the system, reinstall the system. So you can come here to save your data. So you can save your data by coming here, booting your system in the rescue mode, and just remove your data what you want to save it from here. Connect your external drive. You can connect your external drive, then you move your files, which is important, move the files on the external drives, save, take backup, and then what? Reinstall it. We can see the file system, we can still see the partitions here. And if the partitions are not, it is automatically not detecting, then we can manually mount these partitions and see the data, is it mounting or not mounting. And if it is not mounting properly, then what? We can do what? We can save the data and remove the data, take the backup, copy the data, and then what? Reinstall the whole operating system. So our system is not that corrupted. So we have fixed the problem for kernel. We have reset the password of user root. Also we have removed the password of grub. Now what? I will exit from here. Now before exiting from here, we have to consider about SE Linux. Remember, SE Linux is still there and it is still running. By default it is running. So what it do? It actually relabel the file systems. Now when you go into the rescue mode from the DVD, then what we should do? We should remove the file which is auto relabel. The file is there under this slash, under the root file system. You can see the file here, .auto relabel. It is the hidden file. It says that need to be relabeled. The file system need to be relabeled. What we should do here? We have to remove this file completely. So what? Before exiting from here, I will do what? I will run rm command to remove that file from here. .auto relabel. Now again, if you forgot to do this, again your system will not start. Now if you're not, the system is not started, then what we have to do? We have to we have to come again into the rescue mode, and then what, try to reboot the try to uh, delete the file, try to delete the file again, then it will work. So don't get panic if your system is not starting after doing this, you forgot to remove this file. So just come again and do this, remove the file, and then it will be fine. I will exit from here. Now we have back to our shell, we have back to the shell from the DVD. Now sometime what happened, our grub may also be corrupt. Like our grub may also be corrupt and it is not working. So if the grub itself is not working, then what? Still we have to come to this rescue mode, because if it is not working, so nothing will work. Then what we have to do, we have to come to this rescue mode, and from here we have to give this command to reinstall the grub. Reinstall the grub by using this command grub to install, and then we have to mention the partition on the the hard disk where we have to reinstall the grub. So we have to mention this to reinstall the grub. So if suppose our grub is also not working, then we can do what? We can come to here in the rescue mode, and also we can reinstall the grub. Now I will exit from here when I am done, and it is going to start normally. Again it is detecting my DVD, so I will go to troubleshoot and I will say boot from local drive. Now we have removed the password for grub. So now if I try to press E, it is not asking the password. Now we have reset the name, we rename the kernel, so we have solved the problem. So I will select the first option and press enter, and it is not giving me any error about the file missing, and it is starting normally. Then also we have reset the password of user root also. Now one more thing, when we try to remove the password for grub, we don't need to remove the password, because the password was in the plain text. Plain text, that means anyone can see the password. We configure the password in the configuration templates of the grub. This is my changed password. So we configure the password for grub in the templates of grub file. So the configuration grub files are there under the etc grub.d directory. Those template files are there, and we use those template files to configure the password on grub. But when we try to remove, we can easily remove we don't have to remove the password, because we can see the password. The password was actually configured under this file, etc grub.d directory, and under that there is a template files here for grub, and under this custom file it was configured the password. So when you see the file, this was configured here. Now we have removed the password from the original file. We have removed the password from the original file, that is what, directly under boot grub and grub.cfg. We remove the password from here directly. There is no password under this line 40 template custom. There is no password it is showing here, because we removed it from here directly. But it was configured here under this template and then updated in the main file. So it is still here, but it is not applying this password because we have removed it from the main file. But the password is in plain text. Anybody can see the password here. Now if you want that nobody can see the password, like it is not secure, because if suppose you are not here and you are not watching your machine, or somebody just come and run the command cat on a file, they can see the password. They can see the password, and if it is in clear text, then it is a problem. So what we can do, we can secure the grub password. We can create the secure grub password. We can configure a secure grub password we can use the hash password. So if anyone sees the file, they cannot understand the password. So they have to remove the password if they want to remove the password. So if you don't see, then you have to reset the password. Now this is not secure, it is a plain text password which is not secure. So if we want to create the password for Grub and that secure password, then what we have to do first, we have to generate the secure password for Grub first. And for that we have to run the command grub2 mk passwd this pbkdf2. So it will generate the hash with pbkdf2 algorithm, and it will do what? It will create the hash for our password, which we can use in our for our Grub password. So when you first, we have to generate the password. So I will give this command, and then it is asking what password you want. So I will say this is my password ABCD. Please confirm ABCD, and this is the password. Remember, I just gave ABCD and the password hash is this big. So now we have to do what? We have to add the password, this hash, into the configuration file so that the password will become the hash password. And nobody can see the password. So actually it is saying here that this pbkdf2 hash of your password is, so this is the password. So we have to copy this whole value here, and then we have to put it into our file. So what I will do, I will right click and copy this, and then I will open the custom file here, and instead of I will open with vim. So instead of using this, instead of using the plain text password, I will paste that secure password here. But when we use the secure password, we have to inform the configuration file that we want to use the secure password. So instead of giving the password only, we will write password dot pbkdf2 here. So we are saying that we are using this pbkdf2 hash for the password, and then you will paste this value here. Now after this we will save this, and then we will update the configuration into main configuration file. Now there is one more thing here I want to say. I'm not saving it right now. Now for example, we did this. How we did this thing? We did what? We generated the hash first, and then what we did? We selected the hash with using the mouse, and then right click on it and copy the file, copy the content. Now if suppose you are working on the command line, then you will not get the mouse there. Remember, when you are working on command line, you will not have a mouse here, and you will not do like, you will not able to do this, select it and then right click and copy it. You will not able to do this. Then how I will do what? Copy this content, copy this output and paste it into this file. Now this is a question we can say, that how we do this, how we copy this content from here on the terminal and paste it into this file. Now what we can do that and what we can do for that easily, the easy option we have is that redirection. We can use the redirection sign. That means what I will do here, I will run the command to generate the password, and I will say redirect the output to this file where I want to copy this. So I will say redirect the output to the file which I want to copy this output. Now remember, I am using two signs. That means I don't want to overwrite the existing configurations. I just want to add the new things. So what it is going to add at the end of the file. So what I am doing, I am running this command to generate the password, and whatever the output is coming, I am redirecting the output to this file where I want to copy. Now for this I don't need to I don't have to mouse here. I just have to press enter. Now remember how this command works. When you first put the command, then what it do? It asks you to give the password. Then When you type the password, then it will ask you to re-enter the password, and then it will generate the hash. Now you have to remember this thing, and then you will press enter. Now it is not giving me any output because the output is going directly into this file. In the file it is saying enter the password. So I will enter the password first. I will say ABCD, and then I will press enter. Now again nothing happens because the next thing is re-enter the password. So it is asking me to re-enter the password, but the output is going into the file. So I will re-enter the password again, ABCD, and then what? I will press enter again. Now this time I didn't get any output. Why? Because the output is already has already gone into this file. Now let's see the file. I will open the file now. And we can see the output is here. First it entered the output here. They redirected the output enter password, then it redirected the output re-enter password, and then the hash is also redirected. Now what I will do, when I'm now I'm in VIM, so I can use VIM to adjust this. I will remove this line. I don't want this line, and also I don't want these things. So this is my password which I need, and I will do what? I will paste it to the place which I want, and then I will say this password is password underscore PBD PBKDF2, and this is the password. So what we did here, we generated the password, the hash password for our grub, and then we enter the password into this file. This is the template file. It is not updating the configuration into the main file. So for updating the configuration, what we have to do, we have to save this, and then we have to generate the update. We have to generate the output and send the update the main configuration file. First I will run it directly to see the output without any error. So there is no error, it is already right, everything is right. So what I will do, I will redirect this to main configuration file, that is under boot grub2 and the grub.cfg. And this is how we configure the password, secure grub password for our grub. Now if suppose somebody sees the file, they still not be able to understand that what is the password, because now the password is hashed with this other hashing algorithm. So this is the troubleshooting options we have for our RHEL Linux. RHEL Linux, we can do reset, reconfigure, we can use the rescue mode, we can reconfiguration from there, we can try to reset the configuration, we can try to fix our system, or even if it is not fixing, then we can just try to recover the files and backup and then reinstall the system.